This is Robert Merdlacci, the MindShare Learning Report. I have the good fortune of having a MindShare moment with Diane Williamson, who heads up the REAP program at the University of Waterloo. We're here at Canada 3.0, Canada's digital innovation conference here in downtown Toronto. And thank you for joining me this morning.
My pleasure.
I spent a bit of time at your booth yesterday, and I was fascinated to learn about this program that really inspires undergraduate students to learn about entrepreneurship around technology, and that really is, the future of career options for kids. There's jobs that don't exist today.
That's right. That's exactly right. And it's drawing on my own background. I know certainly when I did my studies, I had no idea I'd be working in digital media because it simply didn't exist. So what we do is essentially at REAP, research entrepreneurs accelerating prosperity. It's a bit of a mouthful, but we really do encourage students to, by researching, experimenting, and exploring with new technologies. And we specifically work in the interactive display and applications. So that can be gesture interactivity, in other words, by moving your feet or moving your hands. It can be touch. It can be remote by using, say, your smartphone or your tablet to take control of a screen, move content around, share content with others. So we sort of look at that entire sector, the content that goes into those interactive displays, as well as the background technology. So it really opens up the field. And when I talk about opening up the field, we draw students from right across campuses. So in other words, we draw them from engineering, computer science, arts, urban planning, knowledge integration, you name it. So while we are based in the arts faculty, we're not just arts focused. So what we find is the best things happen when you put people from different disciplines together into teams and let them experiment and collaborate. And essentially what an engineer brings is different from what an artist brings. And so when they work together, the most exciting things happen.
That's fascinating. That cross-collaboration must spawn some really cool ideas and business ventures that came out of Waterloo. I'm wearing my Pebble watch proudly, yes. Designed by a Waterloo graduate. So are there any technologies that have been generated out of this? Yes,
we've been operating REAP for about a year and a half, and we've spawned about 3 different companies. And these were students that came together that thought they were, going to get an education, which is a fantastic and necessary thing today, but they thought they would just get a job. And then they realized that they could actually create their own job. They could create a company. And it's so exciting to see the energy that when they sort of realize that they can take a different kind of control of their future. And in many cases, this might be a small startup, and then maybe they'll go on to do something else, or maybe they'll spawn other businesses from that. But we're very proud of sort of our 3 companies in just a year and a half, and we have a lot more potential within the program that are showing a lot of potential.
That's fantastic. So perhaps you can show us a little bit about the technology that you were showcasing here.
Yes, indeed. For instance, Aptui is an industry partner of ours. This is a patented technology that was started by someone who was actually an artist, not an engineer. So he thought when iPads and various tablets and things came out, he thought, why can't I use this to control the screens around me? Sometimes we think about Minority Report, which was a movie where all the screens were talking at the people, seemed to almost be controlling the people. He wanted to kind of turn the tables on that. So essentially he's created a technology that allows you to connect with a screen, and then essentially it removes the need for a mouse. The interface that you receive on your smartphone or on your tablet changes based on the content that you're viewing on the larger screen that you've connected to. So it can be a touch surface, it can be a gyrometer, it can be fast forward, pause, etc. for video controls. It can be for children's games as young as preschoolers, bright, colorful buttons, so they can be interacting. No need for keyboard and mouse. So
that's fantastic.
So that's just one example of a technology. Christie Digital has been a significant supporter of the REAP program, and all of their interactive microtiles, various touch displays. The students are creating different things for industry partners to take to trade shows and and really pushing the envelope. We also take technologies and kind of mash them together. So we take two separate technologies and put them together to create something entirely new. And then the students often will negotiate a deal with those technology suppliers to create a business around that. And that's where some of the entrepreneurial comes in, and some of those startup businesses.
Fantastic. And I'm standing on the technology here as well, and perhaps you can share with me what this is all about.
Yes, Gesture Tech is a significant Canadian success story. It was actually based on technology that was developed at the University of Waterloo in the 1980s. It was a sociology major and an arts major that got together and said, why can't we essentially, through movement and dance and creativity, interact with the various screens and things around us? So they created this technology that is now in multiple places and many different products. This one is called the Cube. It's essentially projects onto the floor when you walk over it, just based on the movement of your legs or your hands, because when we see kids get down there, they want to sort of do it with their hands. It can actually make all kinds of different images change and react to gestures.
So is the future having the ability to beam in a professor in a lecture hall? You know, there's online learning, and then there's virtual worlds, if you will. And are we going to see the day when we can beam in a keynote presenter here at Canada 3.0?
Most certainly. I mean, there's still something to be said for that face-to-face classroom time, but as the populations continue to increase, we need to reach more and more people with those educational messages, and with the ability, for instance, to be able to log into a screen and interact with the professor. The professor can actually send questions to people's smartphones and be interacting, polling, getting responses to questions. So there's such an increased interactivity and so much display that actually opens up the world of education to so many people. They don't actually have to be in the room anymore.
Fascinating. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Diane.
Thank you very much for your interest.
That was Diane Williamson of the University of Waterloo. My name is Robert Merlanchi, the MindShare Learning Report. And until next time, keep the learning curve steep.